Have you been told you have hypothyroidism or low thyroid, but you don't really know what to do with that information? And maybe you have all the symptoms, meaning you feel cold all the time, everything just feels slower, you're not able to lose weight, you have brain fog, you're cold, you have a puffy face, your hair's falling out, constipated. I'm not sure if I said that one or not, but just things aren't moving right, but you just don't know what to do. Well, stay tuned because I'm going to explain to you what hypothyroidism means and what you can do about it. In traditional medicine, I was trained to check one marker called a TSH, and if your marker was high, then you have hypothyroidism, and I can just give you a simple pill. You're going to take it every day in the morning for the rest of your life, and then that's just what we have to do, and you may feel better or not, but at least I'm getting your thyroid numbers normal. That's what I was trained traditionally. Since then, I have learned that there is so much we can do in the world of thyroid. There's so many other lab markers that we can check to figure out what's going on with you. And there's so many things from a lifestyle standpoint and also a thyroid hormone standpoint to help you feel better. So let's first talk about what the thyroid is. The thyroid is a little gland in your neck. It's shaped like a butterfly. And its job is to help release thyroid hormone, which then helps support your metabolism. It's essentially your body's thermometer. So if you have too low of levels, then everything is slower, like we talked about with the hypothyroid symptoms. If you have too high of levels, called hyperthyroid, then everything's turned up to where you're really hot. You may have diarrhea, you get heart palpitations, you might have insomnia, you might have anxiety but don't know why. Those are symptoms of hyperthyroidism, which is less common than hypothyroidism. So this video is going to be more on hypothyroidism. I'll make one later on hyperthyroidism. But if your numbers were checked and you were told that you have hypothyroidism, it's important to double check and see, did you have a thorough lab panel to really figure out what's going on? Because if we're just checking the level called a TSH, it's only giving us a little picture of your puzzle of what's going on. So your pituitary gland, which lives in your brain, it's about the size of a pea. It is your master hormone controller. So your pituitary gland releases what's called TSH. That's the lab value we talked about. And that TSH goes to your thyroid and tells your thyroid to make more thyroid hormone. So think about it as a mom telling her child to do the chores. If the mom signal gets louder because the child, being the thyroid, is lazy and not doing what they're supposed to do, then that TSH goes up, that signal goes up. But if the mom doesn't have to be very loud because the child's doing their chores, then the TSH goes down and is in the normal range. So as the TSH goes up, your thyroid is not making as much thyroidism is not making as much thyroid hormone. That's called hypothyroidism. There's a type of hypothyroidism that's very common, and that's called Hashimoto's. And Hashimoto's is where your body has created antibodies they're attacking your thyroid and causing your thyroid to be less productive. So with Hashimoto's, it's an autoimmune condition. And so there are things we can do if we know you have Hashimoto's to calm that autoimmune process down. So it's important to know if you have Hashimoto's or not. And again, this isn't often checked. So to check for Hashimoto's, we need to draw thyroid antibody markers, and that'll tell us if those are high, you have Hashimoto's. The other markers that are important to check are to see how much thyroid hormone you're actually making. So we know the pituitary marker is the TSH, but that's not telling us anything about what thyroid hormone levels are in your body. So those markers are called free T4 and free T3. Free T4 is what your thyroid makes, and then your body has to take that free T4 and convert it to the active form of free T3. So you can have normal TSH levels and normal free T4 levels, and your free T3 levels can be in the toilet, and we won't know unless we check them. But if we know those levels, that will help us guide treatment for you, whether it be from a supplement standpoint or a lifestyle standpoint or even a thyroid hormone standpoint. So knowing this whole picture is really important. It's important for you to advocate to have these numbers checked so that we can help support you better. Because I can't tell you how many times I've seen people who have been on levothyroxine or just T4, the most common thyroid hormone prescribed, for years and years and still have all the thyroid symptoms, but have been told over and over again that their thyroid is normal, their levels are normal, here's your pill, we'll see you in a year. My job is to give you tools to help you navigate these symptoms because you're not stuck this way. There are things that we can do. So stay tuned, check out my other videos where I talk about thyroid hormone treatment options and other ins and outs of thyroid.